What up, y'all? I just got out of my second viewing of Mufasa, and I just want to come back on here and talk about what I saw. I've been noticing the second viewing have been different experiences for me. It was good to just watch it without critiquing it. I kind of know what to expect. I know some things that I may have missed the first time that I want to look for in this rewatch. It's good to have a second watch and then give my more thought out opinion of what I saw in the movie. This movie was great on rewatch. The Mufasa story is such a great executed story. I feel like the people that are hating on this, they're not giving it a chance because they're disdain for the 2019 version of The Lion King. And I truly feel like people are going into this and not giving it a fair shot because this is a good movie. And like when I think about some of the stuff people have complained about, it's just like your normal generic complaints and not really focusing on the story that's being told. I wish people would go into it with more of an open mind and an open heart. Some of the things that didn't work for this movie, Disney is such a big conglomerate. They have to do a whole bunch of things to cross things off the list business wise, and a lot of that disrupted the greatness of this movie. One example of that is Timon and Pumbaa. They had to give us the familiar characters so that it gets people in. They could put them in the trailer so people can buy in and want to come watch it. At one point, do you start to remember who you are as Disney? Like I'm Disney. Like I make I make hot fire. I made a living off making hot fire for the last 100 years, however long they've been doing it. Be comfortable and willing to stand on your own. Shoehorning Timon and Pumbaa into this story, it was very contentious with the flow and the pace and the tone of the story being told. I know it frustrated me on first watch, and I feel like it frustrated a lot of people. Them dudes, I feel like I had a good time with them in the 2019 version, but they were just obnoxious and fucking annoying in this movie, and they kept on cutting from good juicy parts of the story to go back to them spewing fucking nonsense the whole time, and it just got on my fucking nerves, and it got on a lot of people's nerves, and it it extended the runtime and dragged the story along. This movie felt like it has very uneven pacing, and it's because they're cutting to the old shit, all the stuff that Disney's got to cross off the list to keep people engaged and or keep kids engaged, I guess, with the jokes and stuff. I mean, this is a very mature story being told with their nonsense going on in the background. It just takes away the beauty of the story in the Mufasa actual journey. That frustrated me. I rather this just been more serious and we just get the real raw Mufasa. I do not mind Rafiki telling the story though. Rafiki's such a goat with the way he paints a picture with his storytelling. I meant to look up what that guy's name is. I feel like he plays T'Challa's father in the ancestral planes on Black Panther, the first one, in Civil War actually. But he does such a great job of telling the story. But Timon and Pumbaa tried to sabotage this movie, and for a lot of people, they succeeded. I wasn't going to allow them to ruin my good time of the story of one of my favorite characters being told. Something I heard a lot about was a lot of people complaining about the music in this movie and how nothing was memorable. I think that's straight out bullshit. Now, initially when I first watched the movie the first time, I did feel like the songs were kind of out of place. They didn't use the songs as a vessel to tell a scene or a story. They would complete the scene and then add a song to it instead of using the song to complete the scene. If so, throughout this story, I feel like Mufasa. So, first of all, Mufasa is one of my favorite characters of all time. I remember earlier. Oh, so yeah, Mufasa is one of my favorite characters of all time, and I thought they gave him a very fitting kingly story and a kingly journey in this story. I really liked how They show parts of his life where he had great adversity that he overcame, and he had people that helped him along the way. And all of their help counted for something. He made Mufasa made sure to either pay them back or make sure the sacrifices that the people around him made for him, he made sure that they didn't go in vain, because he turned out to be like one of the realest. And I really appreciated that with Mufasa being a character that I really enjoy. Um, yeah, his journey was dope. He had the adversity with losing his parents and being astray. Taka comes and saves him. Taka's mother, I can't remember what her name was. Against her best judgment, she still took him in. She took care of him, and she taught him real life skills, real lion skills that really helped him on his journey to becoming a king and being of value to all the people around him. Like um, Mufasa's superpower was his hunting skills that his stepmom taught him, and I thought that was very practical and very legit, and make him a very worthy king. The way he was able to navigate them out of dangerous situations and warn people what was coming and things like that. I thought they did a really dope job of making that believable, and two, dope. And Mufasa had a bunch of dope legacy moments in this movie. I was watching a movie earlier this summer, and it was the bike riders, and I thought they was just this badass bike gang. And when I watched, I was disappointed because there wasn't a lot of legacy moments that they had where it was like, damn, them dudes. But I feel like Mufasa had a lot of them. He stood tall whenever people needed him to. So when he had to save his stepmom, he had to save Taka's mom. Um, Shit, Mufasa, hey, motherfucker, I'm here to fight. I don't, act first, and then we'll figure that shit out later. And he rolled out for Mom Dukes and had to murk him a nigga. And I thought that shit was cold, and it showed his value to the king, and the king even gave him the responsibility. Hey, you take Taka, and your job is to protect the royal bloodline. And I just thought it was dope how Mufasa put in these tough situations, and he proved himself at every level. And he just had a very noble journey, and I thought that shit was dope. And it was undeniable that he was the king by the end of the movie. Um, yeah, dope ass story. So I did feel like they were out of place, but on this second watch, the songs are more familiar to me now. I had this same thing with Wicked. On second watch, the songs were more familiar to me, and the music didn't bug me as much as it did on the first watch. But it made me remember, because I don't listen to new music now. But when I did listen to new music back when I was in high school and college, when I would get a new CD, it would take me a week or two of listening to decide if I liked the album or not. That is thrown in my face as I watch these musicals, because on second watch, it's so much more enjoyable when I'm familiar with the songs that are being sung, and it's not annoying and putting me to sleep like it does on the initial watch. The music was a lot better this time, and it made me realize the music is actually, it's a lot of bangers in here. First of all, they said it was no bops. So we live in different times now. When we in the 90s, we would watch movies 2 and 3 times a day. So the shit was on repeat all the time. So the music in those movies were very familiar with us for us. We knew all the words and things like that. And then we didn't live in a world where we had access to give our opinions immediately whenever we wanted to right away. So, so back then we weren't leaving the theater like singing whatever song we liked. It might be stuck in our head a little bit, but it had time to build and grow with us with every rewatch. I think as time moves on, this one, people are going to like this music a lot more because it has some bangers. Like I specifically paid attention to the music in here, and the second watch, I don't remember one song that I don't like. Always Wanted a Brother is blowing up on social media right now. That's everywhere. Bye Bye is everywhere. Now, I thought Bye Bye placement was bad because they were trying to make the villain a menacing dude, and he was doing a good job of like being that nigga like that you needed to be scared of. And then just the bye bye line kind of threw the tone off in his character. So I get the people's complaints about that, but the actual song was actually dope, and it was very Scar-esque villainy type of song. And then all the other songs were actually really dope. People truly aren't giving it a chance. They're trying to find anything to tear this motherfucker down, but this is a dope ass movie, and I think as time goes on, people enjoy it more. I loved how the story showed how their pride developed, finding Sarabi, Rafiki being like the spiritual leader and the spiritual guide. Everybody had a role to play, and everybody was so great at their role. I thought it was so dope that Sarabi's father gave her the bird to protect her, and the way they used it, I just feel like it was so creative. When people talk about no originality, yes, they given us a familiar property that we know, but this story was so original. They added on to what we know of the Lion King so well. And I just love Sarabi's bird and how it was the scout for them. And Sarabi was like really the general, the lieutenant, the second in command, because she approved of all of Mufasa's decisions and got everybody else to realize like, yeah, this dude know what he's talking about. We need to follow him. And Rafiki, obviously, that spiritual guide, that hope, and to keep them going, keep them motivated, and keep them humble in their approach to how they're going about this journey. And even Scar played a role. Like Sarabi said, Scar's purpose was to save you. Scar saved Mufasa on countless occasions, and just me in that second line in the pride, shit, y'all, you need that protection out in the jungle. Shit ain't sweet out there, but you see two teenage lions walking around that motherfucker. Motherfuckers gonna think twice about stepping to y'all. So even as bad as Scar was, Scar served his role too. And I just love a team effort. They made Mufasa building his team and how the puzzle pieces fit together. I thought that shit was excellent. If you haven't watched this, or you're on the fence of watching The Lion King, give it a watch, and watch it with an open mind. Don't try not to go on there with no preconceived notions or how you felt about the last movie. This is a very good story. It looks great. Everybody do a great job acting or voice acting, except for except for the main cast. But the story of Mufasa is excellent, and you should really go out and watch this movie.